Did I mention how much I paid for them? £30, 30. These in similar condition sell for nearly £300 on eBay. I didn't actually realise how big these were. They are called bookshelf speakers. These are more like big shelf speakers. Hello and welcome back. I don't know why I'm welcoming you back because you haven't really gone anywhere. Whatever, it's another video. Here I am back at the office. It's not off to a good start because you know how when you're anticipating a delivery or a collection and you've got tracking information and waiting between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. and we'll be there, and especially with UPS they are very unreliable from my experience. I was supposed to have something collected by UPS this morning. I was running a few minutes late because I was doing the school run and then sat in traffic for, 12 minutes. So I got to the office at 9:20. The UPS courier had already been and gone. What the fuck? As I understand it, I can just attach the label to the box and go drop it off somewhere, which is good. The one time you don't really expect them to be early, especially given that to get to my office location, there's roadworks everywhere at the moment, so it's almost impossible to make good time. Anyway, I completely forgot that I was meant to start this video a few minutes earlier. In the last video I mentioned a Sonos Connect amp which I got from a boot fair for £20. Yeah, that didn't work. It just didn't turn on. Opened it up, replaced the fuse, it basically popped immediately. So there's something else wrong there. Something beyond my understanding. Something beyond which I give a shit. Put it on eBay, listed it as faulty, and well, it sold for 99p. Which sucks. At least I did make a little money back because with the Connect amp I got one of the original, what are they called? The CR200 Sonos Control, one of these. So the controller sold for £8. Almost made half my money back. So it currently resides in there, ready to be sent off. That's what I was waiting to be collected. This, I'm sure I mentioned it before, is an IOTA VX SA3 amplifier, which I took a gamble on, used it for the first time for a client. The display didn't work, everything else worked, so at least he had his music and his gym. Yeah, I had to get a replacement. I've been waiting, how long has it been now? 9 or 10 weeks for them to collect it, and then missed the collection. Arcam. The Arcam Alpha 2 amp that I've been cleaning up and replacing the knobs on, etc. That's what it looks like at the moment. Those are the new knobs from AliExpress, and the outside I just cleaned up. I'm not going to get it out the shelf because once you've seen one, you've seen them all. The top that was very dented and bent, I managed to straighten about 90%. It's a lot flatter on top. Luckily, the denting and bending the top didn't damage anything inside because it doesn't actually touch anything inside. So that's good. That's now on eBay. In fact, so it's got its first bid starting at £20. I'm happy with because I've made my money back. It cost me £3 for the amp and like £1.90 for the replacement knobs, and the rest of it has just been my time cleaning it. No complaints. Also, in other news, I don't know if I mentioned these before, so I picked up a pair of Bowers & Wilkins DM602 S3s. Yeah, I know these are shot, those are crumpled. These I'm going to look to replace entirely. This outer skin is the actual tweeter. It's not like something that's stuck on there. So you have to replace the whole tweeter to actually straighten that out. I don't want to just, try and smooth it out. I want it to be, look like it should. These are going to be trickier because they have to be carefully pried away from this Kevlar cone. This one maybe not so much because it's got a bit more to grip on. This one, well, the kids have had a field day on it. That's one of my next projects, restore these somewhat. There's some staining on there as well. On one of them at the back you can see the box, the actual cabinet has started splitting. So I have tested these and this is not actually leaking air, which is surprising. Some point I need to, I don't know how I'm going to do that. Either I'm going to have to re-steam the cabinet and then flatten it, re-glue it, do something basically. Worst case, I'll get brand new cabinets built because surprisingly the cabinet material seems quite thin. I'm sure it's thicker than it appears. And another thing I need to get is, see this by-wire link here? is missing there, so I've just used a piece of flex. Need to get another one of these. Yeah, that's another project. Did I mention how much I paid for them? Not sure. £30, 30, which is amazing really, because I've seen these in similar condition sell for nearly £300 on eBay. Now at £30, I'm half tempted to actually refurb them and keep them for myself, although they are bloody massive. I didn't actually realise how big these were. I've only seen pictures of them, and obviously they are called bookshelf speakers. These are more like big shelf speakers. Let's see how big they actually measure. You see that? 485mm. Nearly, damn it, nearly half a metre tall, which, as far as bookshelf speakers go, that is big. I've yet to actually fully crank them up and see what they sound like. I've only had them connected to that Arkham amp briefly, and I think the power is slightly lacking. So I believe the input power range on these speakers is something like 15 up to 120 watts, and obviously the Arkham only puts out 30 or 35 per channel. I think it's 30 per channel, so it's definitely near the low end. It still sounded good, but it didn't quite have the power in the bass there to actually move air. I think that's going to be it for my audio adventures today, although I've still got this thing to put back together. And so I've spoken with the customer, and they are not having it repaired because the parts plus the labor time to actually do the repair will cost more than buying an equivalent, well, not an equivalent amp, but all he needs is an extra 2 channels, or is it 2 stereo channels? I don't know, whatever. He needs more amplification to get more speakers firing, but he doesn't need something this big. So more on that later. We'll be putting that back together again so that I can move it off of my workbench and get these speakers on there and disassembled. When I get to it, I will catch up with you in the next video. Oh, it's raining now. Brilliant.